No surprise here, everybody. Wikipedia, probably one of the furthest leaning left platforms on the internet. It's a wonder why they're begging for donations every day, because they're gonna be, well, broke. I mean, how many times you open up Wikipedia and they're pretty much begging, slamming it in your face, please donate to us, we need help. Now, if you can see here, the Wikipedia page for Yasuke has been locked. Now let's go over here. Now before it was locked, there was about, I don't know, a few hundred changes. Like if we go down here, misinformed people spreading fake information. All reputable historians believe Yasuke was a samurai and bodyguard. Not really. We're going to go over the history here in a moment. But yeah, so as you can see, Wikipedia added again, being the truth of every detail, of course. Now, before we dive into story time of Yasuke, I would like to comment on a few things. On my video, people kept referencing Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, Origins' existence doesn't nullify the "they could have picked Africa" statement that I made. Don't you think it's only fair that the Japanese also receive a lead that is, I don't know, a Japanese, an authentic samurai, not Yasuke, a fake samurai, which we will go over in a moment. I tell you what, if you're a limper out there and you're like, oh, it's okay because it was a samurai, it doesn't matter. Shut your damn mouth. Shut up. Why can Japanese culture, feudal Japan, not see an authentic Japanese samurai? Let alone somebody like Yasuke, who was not even an assassin. Didn't even fight. So, to those people, quit being a limp-wrister, go to the doctor, get a cast thrown on your fucking wrist, and let it heal up for a bit, alright? Alright. Oh, and I should mention, again, to the Origins statement, right? Imagine if Assassin's Creed Origins had featured Elon Musk. He is African after all, right? Hey, I got a question for you, leftoids and little woke crybaby bitches out there. Would that have been okay with you? If Assassin's Creed Origins had featured, I don't know, a white guy, right? So, shut up. Alright, moving on. Now, if we go over here, the bogus story of Yasuke and wokeness revisionist. History. Guys, I'm sorry, I had to come back and mention this. Oh, was I whispering? My bad. Guys, this blog post here of, by the way, this guy does many samurais. It was 2021. This was not altered like Wikipedia in the last 24 hours by the woke, insane mob who are trying to fucking protect their precious Yasuke. Okay, all you Wakanda fans, in this post we are dealing with history. No racial bias, no fantasy wokeness, or revisionist nonsense, just the facts. Yasuke. We will begin with the fact that Yasuke was a real person. He did exist. He was of African descent, and he was put into the service of Oda Nobunaga. This is fact, and is not disputed. What is disputed are all the revisionist stories of Yasuke as a great warrior, as having been awarded samurai status and earning respect of the Japanese people, and other daimyo that he encountered in the service of Oda. This is not fact. Romantic stories of the famed Black Samurai are nothing more than fables, no more real than the futuristic comic book land of Wakanda. Recent books by authors such as Thomas Lockley provide a plethora of speculation portrayed as fact, typically referencing historical documents and then interpreting them in a way to fit the narrative that sells books. However, we won't go far into the motivation of authors and commercialization of romantic stories. These have their purpose, and remaining true to the historical records is rarely one of them. Here is a high-level overview based upon the known recorded facts. Yasuke arrived in Japan in 1579 in service of the Italian Jesuit missionary Alessandro Valignano, who had been appointed the visitor inspector of the Jesuit missions in the Indies, East Africa, South and East Asia. He accompanied Valignano when the latter came to the Katoyo area in March 1581, and his appearance caused a lot of interest with the local people. So I'm going to skip over this part right here and not even pretend that I know how to say these words. Because unlike, the game, I'm authentic. Anyways, when Yasuke was presented to the Oda Nobunaga, the Japanese daimyo thought that his skin must have been colored with black ink. Nobunaga had him stripped from the waist up and made him scrub his skin. These events are recorded in a 1581 letter of the Jesuit Louis Ferras to Lorenzo Maxia, and the 1582 annual report of the Jesuit mission in Japan, also by Ferras. These accounts were also published in Cartas que os padres y hermanos de Campeia de Jesus escravieron de los reinos de Japón, China II. You know what? I'm hella authentic, so we're gonna leave that in there. I have no idea if I said that right. Anyways, let's continue. When Nobunaga realized that the African skin was indeed black, he took an interest in him. According to a Japanese accounting of Yasuke, states, on the 23rd of the second month, 23rd of March, 1581, a black page came from the Christian countries. The man was healthy with a good demeanor, and Nobunaga praised Yasuke's strength. Some say that Yasuke could speak or was taught Japanese, and it is stated Nobunaga enjoyed talking with him. However, it is more likely that a Jesuit missionary translated for them in order to control the dialogue, as they were not ones to miss an opportunity to interact with Nobunaga in order to advance their mission. Reportedly, Nobunaga's nephew gave him a sum of money at this first meeting for his travels, and on 14th of May, Yasuke departed for Ishizen province with Preuss and the other Christians. During this trip, they met local warlords such as Shibata Katsutoyo and Hashiba Hidekatsu. In Shibata Katsui, they returned to Kyoto on the 30th of May. At some point, although when is not exactly clear, Yasuke entered Nobunaga's service. Yasuke was also mentioned in the prototype of Shinko Ki owned by Sonkeikaku Bunko, the archives of the Maida clan. According to this, the black man named Yasuke was given his own residence and a short ceremonial kantata by Nobunaga. Nobunaga also assigned him the duty of weapon bearer, much to the annoyance of actual samurai. Here is where the facts morph from what is known to what is wished for. Nobunaga had a propensity for the unique, and he was particularly interested in all things foreign. Clearly, he was fascinated by Yasuke, and this was documented to be the chagrin of many of his top generals, such as Akechi Mitsuhide, who is reported to have been disgusted by the sight of Yasuke and saw him as nothing more than a wild beast. Now, I'd also like to point out that a lot of the Japanese viewed other races like this. The Japanese themselves have been extremely bigoted and racist in history. Now, everybody was in history, so before the woke mob, oh, but you're racist. Try to remember what the real world was for most of the human race besides the last 50 years where you guys, lost your fucking minds. And by 50 years, I mean, yeah, it's really been going on for that long. You guys have just come out of the closet in the last few years, really showing everyone how you think. So, just saying. Anyways. After the Battle of Tenmokozan, Nobunaga led his force, including Yasuke, and inspected the former territory of the Takeda clan. So people make the assumption that Yasuke actually fought this battle and that he donned samurai armor and fought valiantly as a samurai hero. Fact check. A sword bearer stays behind the general camp, near to the lord. They don't go out on the battlefield, and there is absolutely positively no record of Yasuke fighting in any battle. There is also no record of Yasuke receiving martial arts training or use of the Japanese sword, either when in the service of Nobunaga or the years prior. The truth is that his time with Nobunaga was limited, as they first met in 1581 and Oda Nobunaga was dead a year later. This is hardly enough time for Yasuke to be trained to be the great warrior all of the Wakanda dreamers want him to be. Facts, by the way. Yasuke is a samurai. Sadly, for either commercial purposes or some social equity rationale, some people attempt to equate Yasuke as a non-Japanese samurai in the same way the English sailor William Adams Pilot was later viewed. However, Adams was actually presented samurai status, and there is no record of Yasuke being bestowed similar samurai status. The facts are that Oda Nobunaga made him a servant for a few months. A few months, not a lifetime of service dedicated to serving his lord, ready to give his life in the service of the Oda. Another fact that is clear, Yasuke was kept around as a talking piece, an oddity for Nobunaga to show off, much in the same way he enjoyed irking other daimyo by showing them Aze Nagamasa's gold-plated skull. The fate of Yasuke. They say that Yasuke was presented at Hanaji and took part in the fighting that led to Nobunaga's death. However, it is recorded that perhaps only a single individual from the Oda survived the Hanaji incident, and it wasn't Yasuke. Yasuke was alleged to have been taken by Mitsuhide troops soon after the Hanaji incident, but Akechi had his men return him to the Christian missionary, stating that you don't kill the beast for the fault of his master. Was he an honorable samurai? Despite modern romanticized versions of Yasuke, if he was this great samurai some would have you believe, then it stands to reason that he would have either fought to the death at Hanaji, or at the very least he would have committed seppuku. Nope, didn't happen. Or if he was an honorable samurai like the 47th Ronin, at the very least, he would have begged to join Hideyoshi in the fight against Mitsuhide and gotten revenge, don't you think? Nope, didn't happen. All that is known about the fate of Yasuke is that he was seen with the Christian missionaries after Nobunaga's death and reportedly fled the country soon after. So while people may attempt to romanticize the story of Yasuke to suit their agenda, the truth is that such blatantly false attempts to rewrite history are pure revisionism and nothing more. Faking history because it makes you feel good does nothing but a disservice to all students of the culture, the Japanese nation, and the historical record. There was no black samurai, no great Yasuke, no hero, just a man who was victim of circumstance and the times he lived in. In conclusion, the last decade brought us the phenomena of fake news. The last thing the world needs now is fake history. Wakanda forever. And for the limp wristers who are coping with the fact and trying to say, but there is a female Japanese assassin in the game. Well, let me tell you, 99.9% of all female warriors, you know what they did? Do you know what a succubus does? They weren't battling in epic fucking fights with no male samurai. They were completely outclassed. There were no female fucking ninjas. It's all fantasy. It's all bullshit. And even when you find the one in a million, it is not historically accurate at all. Seducers, and that's about it. And they got the job done. But they did that by being women, by seducing the men, manipulating, not because they were badass with a katana. Not even close. So, cope harder. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, like the video. I'll see you next time.